This conference will now be recorded.
So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Right.
Good morning,
I
sir.
hope you are all safe there in your house. So today we will be discussing on epidemiology of Japanese encephalitis and control measures. So today's topic will be on Japanese encephalitis. You can see a 5-year-old baby with Japanese encephalitis. See, there is a neurological deficit was there. You can see the hands and lower limbs, upper limbs and lower limbs, and the position of the baby. So there is some neurological deficit was there in that baby. And you can see in the picture, man rushing his child to a hospital in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. See that this child is in a coma, and the man is carrying the boy to the hospital. You can see doctor looks at a child who is being treated for Japanese encephalitis at a hospital in Lucknow. So Japanese encephalitis is a viral zoonotic disease because of its epidemic potential and high case mortality rate. So because you can see this Japanese encephalitis is a viral disease, viral zoonotic disease, and it is having the potential to become epidemics. So if the chances of occurring epidemics will be more with this disease, and the case fatality rate, or you can say case mortality rate, will be very high. That is almost 30%. Suppose 100 people get the disease, out of 100, 30 people will definitely die, and the remaining people, 10 to 15% of the people, they will get the neurological deficit. So mortality is very high with this disease. It is a mosquito-borne zoonotic disease. So is mainly a mosquito-borne disease, mosquito-borne zoonotic disease. The virus infects mainly animals through migrating birds. Pigs is the amplifier host. Man is infected incidentally. So man is infected incidentally. So without suddenly man is going to get infected. Man is man is affected incidentally, whereas pig is the amplifier host, and it is mainly transmitted to the birds. So the virus is mainly present in the birds and pigs. Man is affected incidentally. So JE is primarily a disease of rural, semi-urban, agricultural areas where vector mosquitoes proliferate in close association with pigs and other animal reservoirs. So in most of the agriculture areas, so it is mainly found in the rural, semi-urban and agricultural areas where vectors are more. So in those areas, vectors will breed. Vectors breeding sites, like you can see in the agricultural areas, semi-urban areas where the environment is suitable for their breeding, as well as in the rural areas. So along with in close association with pigs and other animal reservoirs. So man-to-man transmission is not possible. So in case of Japanese encephalitis, man-to-man transmission is not there. Man-to-man transmission is not there. The detection of cases are difficult due to disease apparent and inapparent nature. Once the human is infected with the disease, it leads to death in most of the cases. So once you get the diseases, chances of mortality will be very high. So once the human gets the disease, chances of death will be very high. If survive, the patient will be with severe physical and neurological complications. That's what I am saying. The mortality in this with this Japanese encephalitis is almost 30%. So if at all the child, if at all the human being survives, he is going to suffer with physical as well as neurological complications. You can see incidence of Japanese encephalitis. So this all red areas. So almost all the countries are affected. You can see Japanese encephalitis is a mosquito-borne viral infection that occurs chiefly in 3 areas. You can see China and Korea, India, Southern East Asian countries, Thailand, Cambodia, and all those things. So the virus was isolated for the first time in the world from a post-mortem human brain in Japan in 1993. That's why it is called as Japanese encephalitis. So this was first isolated. The virus was first isolated in Japan from the post-mortem human brain. So in Japan in 1993, that's why it is called as Japanese encephalitis. JE was clinically diagnosed for the first time in India in 1955 at Vellore, North Accra district of Tamil Nadu. So in India, Tamil Nadu is the place where we got the Japanese encephalitis. So most of the diseases we are going to identify in Tamil Nadu only, especially HIV/AIDS also we identified in Tamil Nadu, and Japanese encephalitis in India, especially Tamil Nadu only, especially at Vellore, it was clinically diagnosed. Approximately 3 billion people and 60% of the world population live in endemic region. So almost 60% of the population, world's population, live in endemic region. So in India, there was a rise of Japanese encephalitis incidence in 1980 and has dropped significantly and maintained till 1995. The major outbreaks coincided with the heavy rainfall and our floods. So this it is a seasonal one, and mostly it will occur during the rainfall and through the floods. So heavy rainfalls is mainly responsible for the transmission of the disease. In India, JE is considered. Hello. In India, Japanese encephalitis is considered mainly as a pediatric problem. So in most of the cases, so we have seen in under the pediatric age group, not in the adults. So Japanese encephalitis in India, we have seen majority of the cases among the pediatric population, not among the adult or geriatric population. So JE outbreaks. So where are the JE outbreaks occurred in India? You can see in Nagpur 1954 to 55, and then Madras 1955, Agra, UP, that is 1958, West Bengal 1973. So Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, West Bengal, AP, Bihar, Assam, and UP in 1977 to 79. So Kerala. So almost in all the districts, almost in all the states, this outbreak has occurred in India. You can see children field near Rakshakpur village in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, a bowl-shaped breeding ground for mosquitoes that spread Japanese encephalitis. This year has been exceptionally rainy, leaving mosquito-friendly pools of water everywhere. At least 850 people, mostly children, have already died from the incurable disease. You can see you can see in the fields children are playing, and these are the areas where the mosquitoes will breed hugely. As a result of that, if that infected mosquito bites the children, definitely they are going to suffer with the disease, and almost 850 children died. So what are the areas where there is high occurrence of this Japanese encephalitis in India? You can see the three southern states of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka were reporting higher incidence, because these three where the rice paddy is the main crop for these people. So that rice paddy crop is the main area where these mosquitoes will breed. So the three southern states of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka were reporting higher incidence, and JE is emerging as a public health problem in Kerala. In a few villages of Kadalur district of Tamil Nadu, a known Japanese encephalitis endemic area. So these are the areas where the where it is endemic, that is Chidambaram, Virudachalam, and Chittakudi. And you can see these are the areas where JE is affected. The green areas, JE affected districts in state wise. So Tamil Nadu, lot of cases are there. You can see the incidence of Japanese encephalitis. You can see year wise 1995 to 2004. That is almost 115. 1995 was 115 and death rate is 57. See the difference. See, almost 50% mortality is there. So in 1995, 115 cases occurred. 115 cases of Japanese encephalitis occurred. Out of that, 57 deaths happened. So with this, you can say there is almost 50% mortality is there. And see, and slowly as a result of we are able to come up with the vaccine, and we started preventive measures, controlling the vector, and then immunizing all the population who are at risk. So as a result of that, we have brought the cases to very little number. That is, see, in 1995 it is almost 115. In 2004 it is 82. So in between 1999 and 98, you can see 25 and 14 cases. 25 and 14 cases. So see the death rate. So cases are there. That is in 2004, cases are almost 82 cases, whereas the death is only 9. Death is only 9. That means we are able to protect majority of the people. We are able, because of vaccination or because of the protective measures or the preventive measures what we have established. Because of all this, we are able to treat the disease, give the treatment properly. We are able to diagnose the disease at appropriate time and starting the treatment at appropriate time. As a result of that, we are able to reduce the death rate. We are able to reduce the death rate and as well as the number of cases also. So you can see this is an arbovirus and the disease are collectively called as arboviral encephalitis. So Japanese encephalitis is related to St. Louis encephalitis virus, Murray Valley virus and West Nile virus. So there is a similarities. Please try to keep your phone on mute. So the virus is antigenically related to other flaviviruses, including dengue virus. So JE virus is a member of the family Flaviviridae. It is a single-stranded RNA virus. It has 3 proteins that is protein and membrane protein. It has 3 proteins, that is envelope proteins there, core protein and membrane protein. You can see vectors. So mainly major vectors are Culex Vishnu, that is subgroup which comprises pseudo Vishnu spores, and then isolated those. The majority of the isolations are from Vishnu complex, which breeds extensively in rice ecosystem. You can see that this Culex Vishnu, which is having the potential to breed extensively in rice ecosystem. So especially in the paddy crops, these vectors will breed profusely. That is Culex Vishnu is the main vector for this disease. Who is that? So Culex Vishnu complex, which breeds extensively in rice ecosystem. That is, I told you already, in the paddy fields, these vectors will breed profusely. The disease occurrence coincide with the rainy season, especially during the rainy season. Its incidence will be very high. The predominant mosquito species involved in JE transmission breed in rice fields and water surfaces. These birds, which have role in the JE transmission, have close link with the rice fields and water. So the birds which carry this virus, they are also having a close association with the rice fields and water. You can see among the vertebrate hosts, though the cattle population do not circulate the virus, they support the mosquito species by providing blood meal to them. Establishment of pig farms for economical reasons are related to human activities in the countryside. Building reservoirs and canals for agricultural purposes may harbor potential for JE virus transmission. I told you water as well as the rice fields. So if there are rice fields, definitely this will, the vector Culex Vishnu has the breeding potential in the rice fields as well as in the water. So if you are building reservoirs or canals, definitely there is a chance that this vector will breed profusely and the chance of transmission of the disease will be very high. And whereas in the rice fields, this vector will breed extensively, and in the rice fields also the chances this infective mosquito can spread the disease in the rice ecosystem also. You can see there are different types of vectors are there. Culex Vishnu, Culex pseudo Vishnu, so many things are there in different parts of the state. You can see the vector. So different vectors are there. So this is a Culex mosquito laying eggs. See, majority of the people, they are associated with the rice fields, so they will be going to the rice fields to do some cultivation or removing the crop or doing for some other work. So as a result of that, these mosquitoes will bite them and the virus will enter into the body of the human beings. So man is an incidental and dead end host. So from in the man only it will from there it will not go to areas. So man is an incidental and dead end host. Man to man transmission does not occur in, so there is no transmission from human to human. Cattle acts as a dead end host in the transmission cycle. So in the cattle also, you can find the virus, but it is not transmitted. From there only it will be closed. JE infection is transmitted by mosquitoes and then ducklings. The pig's ducklings serves as amplifying host. The virus multiplies in them. So whereas if you see in the pig as well as in the ducks, the virus get multiplied. Man or cattle get infected either from birds or pigs. Ducklings to mosquito bite. So the man or the cattle will get the infection from the mosquitoes. You can see the cycle. So the viral amplification, viral transmission is there, vertical transmission is there, and infected vertebrate reservoirs. We can see reintroduces of infected mosquitoes or vertebrates. So this is transmission is usually seasonal. So in temperate zones of China, Japan, Korea, and northern areas of Southeast Asia, Japanese encephalitis is transmitted during summer and early autumn, May to September. So you can see in the temperate zones, mainly the disease is transmitted during the May to September. In North India and Nepal, transmission occurs from June to November. See, in case of North India and Nepal, transmission occurs from June to November. Whereas in case of South India and Sri Lanka, epidemics are found from September to January. So in case of South India and Sri Lanka, epidemics you can find during the September as well to January. So only 1 in 250 infections results symptomatic illness. So it is not that every individual who gets the bite from the mosquito will get the infection and he will land up with Japanese encephalitis. No, out of 250, one will result symptomatic illness. Most infected persons develop mild symptoms or no symptoms at all. So remaining 249 people, they will develop some sort of symptoms, and automatically in some people there will not be any symptoms. In some people there will be mild symptoms like a light fever. Light fever will be there and that will subside by itself. Symptoms soon appear after exposure, 6 to 8 days after the bite of an infected mosquito. The incubation period is 5 to 15 days. Please be thorough with this. So whereas the incubation period for Japanese encephalitis is 5 to 15 days. So extensive incubation period in vector mosquitoes is 9 to 12 days. Approximately 25 to 30% of the cases are fatal, some with a fulminate course lasting a few days, and others run a more protracted course in coma. So if 100 people get the disease, almost 30 people, definitely the mortality rate will be 30%, 25 to 30%. And remaining some people may land up with physical as well as neurological complications. Some may remain in coma for some more days. About 30% of those who survive may have sequel. So maybe after some time also they may suffer with the disease. Young children under 10 years are more likely to die, and if they survive, they are likely to have residual neurological disability and principal sequel. So what I am saying is, those people who survive with this disease, definitely they are going to have the physical as well as neurological deficit. You can see you can classify the disease into 3 stages. You can classify the JE disease into 3 stages, that is a prodromal stage, an acute encephalitis stage, and a late stage. So there are 3 stages in the Japanese encephalitis, that is a prodromal stage, an acute encephalitic stage, and a late stage. You can see the prodromal stage. It is characterized by fever, rigors, headache, and nausea. So there will be chills and rigors will be there, fever will be there, high temperature, headache will be there, nausea will be there, and vomiting. So the prodromal stage usually lasts for 1 to 6 days. It can be as short as less than 24 hours or as long as 14 days. So there is a long course of prodromal stage is there. That is, it may, in some people it may be there up to 6 days, or in some people it may be within 24 hours. It may last up to 24 hours, or it may be as long as 14 days. So what are the characteristic signs and symptoms you will see? Those are like fever, headache, rigors, nausea, and vomiting. That is the prodromal stage. And you see the acute encephalitis stage. So begins the 3rd to 5th day. The symptoms include convulsions will be there. See convulsions, altered sensorium, so there will be sensorium will be altered, unconsciousness, so baby will be unconscious, coma, mask like face, stiff neck, so stiff neck rigidity will be there, next stiffness of the neck will be there, tremors in fingers, tongue, eyelids and eyes, abnormal movements of limbs and speech impairment. See, the acute encephalitic phase is most dangerous. You can see the baby will be in coma, semi-conscious, unconscious, sometimes semi-conscious. So face, mask like face, stiff neck will be very stiff. He cannot touch the chin with the chest, and the muscular rigidity will be there. There will be tremors in the fingers, tongue, eyelids and eyes. Abnormal movements of the limbs will be there. Abnormal movements of the limbs will be there, and speech impairment will be there at a late stage. So next stage is the late stage, characterized by persistence of signs of CNS, that is injuries such as mental impairment. So mental impairment will be there, increased tendon, deep tendon reflexes. So deep tendon reflexes will increase either of the upper or lower motor neuron. So upper motor neuron or lower motor neuron paralysis will be there. And then speech impairment, that is unable to talk properly. Maybe they may be slurring of speech will be there. Sometimes they may talk, that may be slurring of the speech. Sometimes totally they cannot they cannot talk properly. And then epilepsy will be there, abnormal movements, behavioral abnormalities will be there. So late stage is very dangerous. You can see there will be CNS, signs of CNS will be there, that is mental impairment, increased deep tendon reflexes, paralysis of the upper or lower motor neurons, and speech impairment, that means they cannot talk. If at all they are talking, there will be slurring of the speech will be there, epilepsy will be there, abnormal movements of the both upper and lower limbs, behavioral abnormalities will be there. So these are the signs of the late stage. And you can, if you look at the differential diagnosis, so in all these diseases you can find the similar stages. You can find the similar stages, whereas that is those are cerebral malaria, meningitis, febrile convulsions, Reyes syndrome, rabies, toxic encephalitis, So these are all the stage, these are all the different diagnoses for this Japanese encephalitis. You have to rule out all those things. If you want to diagnose Japanese encephalitis, you have to rule out all these things, and then you can come to the conclusion that it is Japanese encephalitis. You can see the laboratory investigations. So what investigations you are supposed to do? That is peripheral blood picture. You have to do it. That is leukocytosis, and then neutrophilia with mild anemia. Then CSF, cerebrospinal fluid analysis. That is neutrophils may predominate in early CSF samples. Lymphocytic pleocytosis is typical. CSF protein is moderately elevated in about 50% of cases. So you can see in the 50% of the cases, the protein, CSF protein is moderately elevated. And then this is for the CSF blood picture. You have to complete blood picture. You have to take up, and then you have to go for spinal fluid analysis, and then you have to go for serological tests. That is, these are to detect antibodies to viral antigens. So what are the antibodies present for this viral antigens? You have to do it, which includes plague reduction virus neutralization test, and then HI, that is hemagglutination inhibition test, and complement fixation test. A significant rise in Re-established and hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There is a small disturbance in the net connection. So differential diagnosis, you see this different cerebral malaria. So it has similar features with the JE. Meningitis, like stiff neck will be there, rigidity will be there, everything. It is has similar similar features with Japanese encephalitis, febrile conversions, Reyes syndrome, rabies, toxic encephalopathy. All this will have the similar features with the Japanese encephalitis. So you have to rule out all these things, and then you have to go for diagnosis with the Japanese encephalitis. So how you are going to do the laboratory investigations? I told you peripheral blood picture you have to take, and then go for CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid analysis, that is neutrophils may be predominant in early CSF samples, but a lymphocytic pleocytosis is typical. So this one will be there. CSF protein is moderately elevated. Then if you go to the serological test, there are 3 different tests are there, that is plaque reduction virus neutralization test, hemagglutination inhibition, and complement fixation. These are the tests which you are going to do serologically, and there will be significant rise in titers that suggests that JE is positive. So you can isolate the virus. So diagnostic facilities, you can see these are present in Tamil Nadu, especially sera are collected from the Japanese encephalitis cases and sent to virology department, Madurai Medical College or King Institute, Chennai, Institute of Vector Control and Zoonosis, Hosur for laboratory diagnosis of JE cases. Vector mosquitoes collected from the field are sent to CRME, Madurai, and Institute of Vector Control and Zoonosis, Hosur, for PCR analysis for detection of virus. So these are the different facilities which are present in India, especially for sera. You have to send the samples to different labs, and whereas in case of mosquitoes, so you can collect the vector mosquitoes, you can collect them and send them to the Madurai, CRME Madurai, or to the Vector Control and Zoonosis, Institute of Vector Control and Zoonosis, Hosur. So they will do the PCR analysis, polymerase chain reaction analysis for the detection of the virus among the mosquitoes. So how the JE case classification? So you can see the New Delhi, a suspected case, probable case, and a confirmed case. So how when will you say that it is a suspected case? So if you look at a suspected case, a case that is compatible with the clinical description. So if a case is compatible, that means it is similar to the clinically what is described, or clinical signs and symptoms which are given. If it is compatible with that, then you can say that it is a suspected case. Then it is a suspected case of Japanese encephalitis. What is probable case? A suspected case with presumptive laboratory results. Suppose if you are having some laboratory results which is supporting evidence, which is with the supported evidence with the clinical signs and symptoms, then you can say that it is a probable case. So when will you say it is a confirmed case? A suspected case that is laboratory confirmed. So if it is a suspected case which is having the clinical signs and symptoms plus the laboratory diagnosis is available, so if you do the laboratory investigations for that, and in the laboratory it is confirmed in the laboratory it is confirmed, then it is called as a confirmed case of Japanese encephalitis. So we can divide the classification into 3 categories, that is suspected case, probable case, and then the confirmed case. So probable case means suspected case means which is having the clinical picture, clinical description is there, then you can say it is a suspected case. And probable case means a suspected case with the presumptive laboratory results. So for some laboratory support is there, like you can do the blood picture, or cerebrospinal fluid analysis. Then if the picture is relatively similar to the Japanese encephalitis, then you can say it is a probable case. Then when do you say it is a confirmed case? So if the clinical signs and symptoms plus the laboratory diagnosis, if it is virus is isolated, or hemagglutination inhibition test has done and the virus is isolated, and you are saying that with that support, if you are saying it is a Japanese encephalitis, then it is called as confirmed case. Confirmed case means clinical signs and symptoms must be there plus followed by laboratory diagnosis. Then you can say it is a confirmed case. What is the JE control strategy? JE, because Japanese encephalitis is mainly spread by the vector. So vector control mechanism. So vector control program, vector control strategy is similar as you can say early case detection and treatment. Vector control, that is reduction of breeding sources for larvae. So you have to reduce the breeding sources for the larvae. That is the best method. And reduction is in man mosquito contact. That means you are not supposed to come in contact with the mosquito. That means you wear the long sleeves, or you can go during the night time. You can go for mosquito nets. You can use the mosquito nets or the mosquito coils. Whenever you are going to fields or something like whenever you are going to fields, use overall which can protect the entire body, like that, so that it can reduce the man mosquito contact. It will reduce the man mosquito contact. So that is also one of the preventive measures. And control of adult mosquito. So whatever precautions you are taking for all the mosquito vector control mechanisms, whatever you are following for other vectors, the same thing you have to follow here also. That means Japanese encephalitis is spread by a vector, that is Culex vishnu. So it is a mosquito. So you have to go for vector control measures. So vector control measures are the major control strategies for this disease. And if we go for prevention, there is a JE vaccination is there. Japanese encephalitis vaccination is there, which is available. And reduction of breeding sources for larvae. You can see there are water management system with intermittent irrigation system. That means water you have to manage. Water management system, that means you have to clean the water regularly every 7 days or 3 days, for 4 to 5 days you have to clean the water, replace it, and don't store the water for more than 1 week, like that. That means if you store the water for more number of days, automatically it will the mosquito breeding, it will become a site for mosquito breeding. So you have to change the water from time to time. Incorporation of neem products in the rice fields. Not that entirely you have to, what we do generally is that we will plant the entire rice crops. In between there will not be anything. So what they are suggesting is it is better to plant the neem trees, in between the rice crops, so that it will prevent the mosquito breeding sites. The water management is nothing but a strategy of alternate drying and wetting water management systems in the rice fields. This can be implemented only with the coordination of the farmers. Introduction of composite fish culture for mosquito control in rice fields have been evaluated and proved to be successful. So fish culture also has to, you have to improve the fish culture. Under this call attendance. So fish culture, you have to do the fish culture in the rice paddy fields only. So that this larvae will be eaten away by this fish, so that the mosquito strength will come down. And then pig control. So pig control also, because the pigs are the reservoirs of this virus, so it is better to segregate them, keep them away from the human habitations, and slaughtering them, kill them as much as possible, and vaccinate them. If you are able to vaccinate them, and definitely you can do vaccination for the pigs. And if you are not able to protect them, or if you are not able to rear them properly, better send them for the slaughterhouse. And you have to segregate. So the pig should not be present in the human habitations. They have to be segregated, and they have to be placed outside the human habitation, so that the spread of the disease can be controlled. So pig control is also one of the major strategy which you have to follow in the Japanese encephalitis. And then mosquito control, that is spraying, draining of mosquito habitations, or using bed nets. So these are all the control strategies which you have to follow. So with the reservoirs, pigs are the reservoirs, so try to segregate them, so keep them away from the human habitations, or you can slaughter them. Suppose if you are not able to do that, if you don't have the proper place to rear them properly, so in that scenario it is better to send them for slaughterhouse. And then you send them for vaccination. So you vaccinate them. Suppose if you are keeping them in the human habitations, so better you vaccinate them. That is the most common control measure. And the mosquito control, you can do spraying, draining mosquito habitations, and using bed nets. These are the mosquito control measures. Now what is required is an ideal Japanese encephalitis vaccine. You can see it should be safe, cheap and easy to administer. So whatever the vaccine you are bringing up, it should be very safe. It should not cause any damage. It should not cause any complication. That means adverse events must not be there, and it should be very cheap and easy to administer. So these are the 3 points for any vaccine, not only for Japanese encephalitis. So these three must be there. That is, it should be very safe. It should not cause any adverse events, and it should be very cheap so that every individual can have access to it. That means it should be very cheap and it should be acceptable and easy to administer. There should not be any complicated procedure, must not be there, so that if it is a complicated procedure, definitely people will object that we don't want to administer this vaccine. So then it will become a problem. So you have invented a vaccine and the people are not interested to take that. That means you are not successful. So it should be a simple method so that the people can accept it very easily. So these are the 3 points which you have to keep in mind for every vaccine. For every vaccination, should generate JE neutralizing antibodies capable of protecting against JE, Japanese encephalitis virus infection. So this vaccine must be able to produce neutralizing antibodies, right? So JE neutralizing antibodies must be there, and it has to protect the individuals from the virus infection. So Japanese encephalitis vaccine is made from JEV Nakayama strain grown in suckling mouse brain. So already a vaccine is available, which is a Nakayama strain grown in suckling mouse brain. Virus is formaldehyde inactivated and purified. So all the live attenuated vaccines, they will be inactivated by adding formaldehyde. That means they will lose the antigenicity, but still they will have some potentiality, so that if you introduce that into the body, automatically antibodies will develop. So minimum antigens will be present, that to certain level that it will not cause the disease. So antigens which are introduced into the body, live attenuated vaccine means the antigens will be introduced into the body to such an extent that it will not produce the disease, it will not cause the disease, but it is capable of producing the antibodies in the body. That is called inactivated. So that virus is inactivated by formaldehyde and purified. Vaccine is effective but has limitations in terms of some side effects, low availability and high cost of production. That means rate is very high and availability is very less because it is very costly. So production is very less. So it is non-availability will be there to the people. So 3 types produced and used worldwide. So Japanese encephalitis vaccine is of 3 types. It is produced and used worldwide. That is inactivated mouse brain vaccine, that is Indian Nakayama strain. Inactivated mouse brain vaccine, that is Indian Nakayama strain, that is 0.5 ml to 1 ml. 1 ml subcutaneous, that is 2 doses, 1 to 4 weeks apart. Booster after 1 year. Subsequent boosters at 1 to 3 years interval. Then inactivated hamster kidney cell vaccine is present. Live attenuated hamster kidney cell vaccine is present. So there are different types of vaccines are available. That is inactivated mouse brain vaccine is available. Inactivated hamster kidney cell vaccine is available. Live attenuated hamster kidney cell vaccine is available. So these are the vaccines which are available. If you look at the most commonly used one is the live attenuated vaccine, that is SA 14-14-2, that is Chinese live attenuated vaccine at affordable cost, safe and effective. See, the most commonly used vaccine worldwide is the SA 14-14-2, that is Chinese live attenuated vaccine at affordable cost. So cost is very cheap and everybody can purchase it, and it is safe and effective. This vaccine was developed in China and has been used there since 1988. It has been licensed and used in South Korea and Nepal and licensed in Sri Lanka also. It also appears feasible that a single dose of vaccine will provide lifelong immunity. So the problem here is that a single vaccine will provide the lifelong immunity. That's why majority of the countries, they are preferring this live attenuated SA 14-14-2 Chinese vaccine. You can see the schedule for JE vaccines, that is below 1 year of age. So below 1 year, it should not be given. Right? Primary dose is 1 to 2 years. In between 1 to 2 years, 0.5 ml first dose, 0.5 ml second dose at an interval of 1 month. So 1 to 2 years, you cannot give this. You cannot give the vaccine. Please remember, less than 1 year, you are not supposed to give the vaccination. You are not supposed to give the vaccination less than 1 year. 1 to 2 years, start the vaccination. 0.5 ml. 0.5 ml single dose and then 0.5 ml second dose at an interval of 4 weeks or 1 month, and then 0.5 ml third dose at an interval of 6 months. So all the above 3 doses must be given after second dose before the child attains the age. The child is over 2 years of age, then each dose should be given with instead of 0.5 ml. You can see 4th year booster doses 1 ml, 1 booster. 8th year 1 ml, 2 second booster dose. 11th year 1 ml, third booster dose must be given. So there is another new vaccine which is available. Other new vaccine which is available, that is the live attenuated chimeric vaccine, which uses a yellow fever vaccine virus strain as its backbone. Chimeric vaccine manufactured by Acambis. Clinical trials are also underway for JE vaccine candidate manufactured by Intercell. Following a successful phase 2 study in the United States, so research project is going on in Tamil Nadu, that is in collaboration with the Public Health Department. The CRME Madurai is undertaking the impregnated curtains trials at Srimangalam and Nallur primary health centers in Kadalur district for control of JE vectors. So with this, I completed this Japanese encephalitis. So if you have any doubts, you write down. Once you come here, we will discuss all those things. So now you give your attendance 1 to 10.
1 present, sir.
2. 2 absent.
4 present, sir. The 4 present.
5.
5 present, sir.
6.
6 present, sir.
7.
7 present, sir.
8.
8 present, sir. 9 present, sir.
9.
9 present,
10.
sir.
10. 10 absent. Now 11 to 20. 11 to 20.
11 present, sir.
12 present, sir.
13 present, sir.
14 present, sir.
15 present, sir.
16 present, sir.
15 present, sir.
16 present, sir.
20.
19 present, sir. 19 present, sir.
18 present, sir.
Sir, 20 present, sir.
Now 21 to 30. 21 to 30.
21 present. 21 present, sir.
22 present, sir.
23 present, sir.
25 present, sir.
24.
25 present, sir.
26 present, sir.
Very good. 27.
27 present, sir.
28.
29 present,
28
sir.
absent. 30.
30 present, sir.
Now from 31 to 40.
31 present, sir. 31 present, sir.
32 present, sir.
33 present, sir.
34
Okay.
present, sir.
Okay.
35 present, sir.
Okay.
36 present, sir.
Okay.
37 present, sir.
Okay.
38 present, sir.
Okay.
39 present, sir.
Okay. 40. 40 absent. 41. 41 to
41
50.
present. 41 present, sir.
42 present, sir.
43 present, sir.
44.
44
absent.
present, sir. 44
45.
present, sir.
Good. 45. 45 absent.
46
46.
present, sir.
47. 47. 47 absent. 48.
48 present, sir.
49.
Present, sir. 49 present, sir.
50.
50 present, sir.
51. 51 absent. 52.
Present, sir.
53.
53 present, sir.
Sir, 47
54.
present, sir.
Okay, right. 47 present.
53 present, sir.
56.
56 present, sir.
55 present, sir.
55 present, yes.
54
56
present, sir.
Okay. 57.
57 present, sir. Present, sir.
58. 59.
present, sir.
Right. 59.
59 present, sir.
60.
60 present, sir.
61.
61 present, sir.
62
present, sir.
Present, sir.
63.
Present, sir. Present, sir.
64. 65.
Present, sir. 65.
66.
66 present, sir.
What is your name? 66.
Medela, sir.
Okay. 67.
Present, sir. 67
68.
present, sir.
Right. 68.
68 present, sir.
69.
69 present,
70.
sir.
Right.
70
70.
present, sir. 70
71.
present, sir.
Present, sir.
71.
71 present, sir.
71 present. 72. 72 absent. ఎవరో ఒకరు చెప్పండి. 72 absent. 73. 73.
74 present, sir.
Okay, from 74. Jyoti Prakash.
76 present, sir.
Right.
26 present, sir.
77 present, sir.
78 present, sir.
Right.
79 present.
Sir, 78 present, sir.
Okay.
80 present, sir.